Right, so I'm here with Carlo Borsattino from Flybubble. Just going to find out a little bit about Carlo and his background and what he does, and then we're going to investigate his equipment and see what makes Carlo fly so far. So, so Carlo, tell us a little bit about yourself, about your flying background. I mean, when did you start flying?
Right, well I started flying in the early 90s.
The early 90s, like, I mean, were the paragliders like made out of plastic bags then, and like 4 strings and like little webbing straps?
They'd come along a little bit by then actually. The performance is pretty poor, and the stability between one glider and another. Some gliders would have some horrible nasty characteristics that would come out in the wash, yeah, that the pilots would find out later on, yeah, and the manufacturers would go back to the drawing board and think, Tell us a bit about your competition lifestyle when you're doing comps full time. Before I did the comps, I was really quite anti the idea of doing competitions, and thought, why do you want to do that? Beauty of paragliding is going free flying and just flying off and doing what you want when you want. Why you want to set a competition and set a rigid task and flying, one sort of thing? Why would you want to do that? And I was quite sort of anti the idea. And then some friends of ours said, well, have you actually done one? And I was, well, no, but I know I won't like it. And they said, well, you haven't done one, have you? So so that's kind of how I ended up doing comps, really. I was quite a sort of reluctant comp flyer, yeah, to start. And actually the first proper comp I did was in Porterville in South Africa. And I did all the wrong things in terms of, I was going to do a comp, and then suddenly somebody said to me, whoa, the glider you're flying is not very competitive. Have this one. Fly this one. So yeah, I flew in a comp in a place I'd not really flown much before, and my first ever comp was a glider I'd never flown before. In the middle of summer? In the middle of summer in strong conditions. But actually it went all right. It went quite well, and I surprised myself in that I quite enjoyed it. I would each year buy a couple of round the world tickets, yeah, and just literally follow the comps round. It was really exciting. For me, it was a great way to go and fly sites I'd never flown before and get to know them. I did about nearly 100 competitions is over a period of several years. When everything comes together, yeah, when the weather's right, they call the right task, you're in the right place at the right time, and then it all comes together, then comps can be brilliant. Then they're really great. I probably am not really a very good competition pilot because I tend to do my own thing. I don't really like I know the correct tactic to win the comps is, yeah, to stick with the gaggle, follow them round, and then sort of win it on the last bit. But I prefer to generally fly my own flight. And sometimes that would happen to be with the gaggle, and yeah, sometimes I just think, yeah, the gaggle are going the wrong way today, and fly off. And quite often I'd think, no, they were going the right way. And sometimes I'd think, oh no, that was a good thing.
What are you trying to identify that makes you go from your own?
Well, you work out the tactic of the comp and the task for the day. It can really vary depending on whether it's, obviously if it's a race to goal, whoever gets there first, or it's an elapsed time task, who's the fastest round the course. That completely changes the tactics. And also judging by how you judge the day is going to progress. Say for example, lots of high cloud coming in and things were going to shut down, and sometimes where the lead gaggle might carry on racing on, I'd be topping up and getting higher, and sort of hanging back. Yeah. Other times it might actually cause me to race ahead thinking, right, we've got a good bit now, and then it's going to slow down later, and so if we bimble along now we're just going to be stuck. So the advantage gotten earlier will just be kept if you time it right. Yeah. In the competitions, you quite often work out that some pilots are going to take higher risks and push harder and push more bar. Yeah. And they fly like that, and you know that there are some pilots that are going to always push harder than you and take more risks and push more bar on that last glide into goal. So you're not likely to beat them by sticking with them and then trying to race them into goal. Especially as they get higher level, that seems to happen more and more. Yeah. And so that probably leads on to one of the reasons why I stopped and lost interest in competing. Yeah. And because it's more about that.
You want to do your own
yeah,
route and make it on.
I like the idea when it's all about, when it's all of the skills together.
Can you tell us a little bit about flying in the UK, how it's different to most places where you've got overseas, and what is it that you really get out of the UK flying?
I enjoy the subtlety of it. You know, it's the skill of being able to work smaller, weaker, you know, thermals, and being able to really get the best out of them, to really understand and feel the conditions and the thermal best, and climb out, you know, when others can't or struggle. That's very rewarding. So that's part of it. A big part of the reason I really enjoy the UK flying is that, well, to be honest, it doesn't feel so life-threatening as, say, flying in the Alps. I definitely feel like there's more risk in flying in the mountains. However, it is more exciting in some ways as well, like in terms of, obviously, with the epic landscapes. It does work to fly lee side in the mountains, but sometimes you fly in and you think, no, not today then. Often during the competitions in the Alps, you'd have one gaggle that would arrive in the same place and arrive in the right timing for the lee side climb to climb out. The next gaggle arrives and gets rotated in exactly the same place half an hour or 15 minutes, half an hour later. So to a certain extent, I have to say that what I like about the UK flying is it's very pleasant. I still find it very exciting and challenging. Yeah. As far as skill is concerned, I think there's equal amounts of skill involved, but one's just less scary and less life-threatening. I could fly, you know, almost any old paraglider in any old harness and thing like that, and I'll manage to fly it and I'll manage to go cross country. But from my experience, I strongly believe that the key with flying, you need to put all the things in your favour. You put all the factors in your favour, and that's what they all add up. All those little things add up to one big thing that helps your flying, and can often make the difference between your flights. You know, flying that bit further or staying up rather than going down. And so I strongly believe it's really important to get the right equipment.